tell you all about its performance capabilities, like its VC turbo engine.
I gotta do something to get the glare off, yo.
Nice. But you don't have to take our word for it. Go drive.
Live again, testing with this mic now. Let's see.
Experience the power of the Nissan
I brought one of my mics in here because last time I used the internal audio. It's not connected yet. Hold on. Come on, yo. Tell me this won't go. I might have to open up the Elgato Wavelink software, set it up in there, and then connect. What up, Jules? Yeah, I know you can hear me, but I have a mic in here set up right here, so that you can hear the radio louder and hear me as well, but it's not connecting. And I think I have to configure it in
Now, is it important to call an experienced personal injury attorney?
speakers through the MacBook.
The sooner you call, the better. If you call us for a free consultation at 1-800-LAW-LINE, we'll advise you of your
I think I got to configure it in the Elgato Wavelink first.
Failure to act may mean losing a chance for compensation. So if someone's injured in an accident, when is the best time to call you? If you were injured in an accident, you should call us right now at 1-800-LAW-LINE. There is no cost for a consultation and no fee unless there's a recovery. We are here to help you. So if you're injured in an accident, call the experienced personal injury attorney.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That number again?
Wavelink virtual microphone.
The easiest way to breathe new life into your home. And when you choose CertaPro Painters, you're choosing a partner in making your house your home. Free estimates, reliable communication, and professional work. All at the right price.
Let's see if I unplug it and put it in another. Will it recognize that way? Audio.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. When choosing professional, the choice.
No. Just got to use the MacBook. You know what? Honestly, yo, I've started using this StreamYard, and it doesn't recognize any of my Elgato stuff. It doesn't recognize my Elgato webcam. It doesn't recognize my Elgato mic. So I'm about to just cancel StreamYard and get maybe Riverside or something else to stream across platforms. It's like, what's the point? What's the use, yo? All right, let's go. So I don't want to turn the speaker up so loud, but all right, here we go. Yeah, right back at it on the fan. Big Zoo behind the glass, dropping the beats. Keith McPherson taking your calls at 888-808-1019. Streaming live across platforms. Hello on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Whichever one of those you use, just search Keith McPherson and it'll pop up. We were talking football, man. We were really leaning into the conversation around the Chiefs dynasty, the Eagles and Saquon Barkley, the matchup coming up as we wait for the Super Bowl. And you can't talk about Saquon Barkley and the Eagles or football really without talking about the Giants, because the Giants certainly helped the Eagles get here. And, you know, we're taking calls from Giants fans talking about what the stadium used to be like and the decision-making to move on from certain players. And I'm in here watching the East-West Shrine Bowl as Shedeur Sanders is there, might be the future quarterback of the New York Football Giants. I just played a cut from his podcast where he said he, you know, on the surface level has been talking to Brian Daboll. And yeah, so let's get back to the phones, man. We're gonna, you know, get to 11 where I do open mic time and open it up and talk about everything, whatever you guys want to do. We hit the Knicks conversation early. We hit the Pete Alonso conversation early. Had some good back and forth around Hal Steinbrenner, the New York Yankees, third base, their outfield. I really started to go in on the Dodgers, the Guggenheim Partners, their private equity firms, the investing that they do, the banks that they own, and how they're set up to manipulate the system and stack their roster in a way that Hal Steinbrenner and the rest of baseball, yeah, maybe they could attempt to do it. Like, Toronto with all that money up there with Rogers, they've deferred some money in Anthony Santander's contract, but come on, they signed Max Scherzer today. Like they can attract the players that the Dodgers can attract. Well, I'm sure we'll have that conversation again real soon. Joe in Brick, New Jersey. What's up, Joe? You're on the Fan.
Hey, what's going on, Steve, my man? Nah, I was listening to you. That's all about the old Giant Stadium, man. And I'll tell you, it was that was a different animal. I mean, growing up, going there, I grew up with the high school in Clifton, and so I was there all the time. The family was all Giant fans. I grew up actually. My cousin was a Raider fan, so I had to compete with him. So I used to root for the Chiefs back when Derek Thomas, Christian McCoy, that whole team, and it's crazy to see them like doing what they're doing now. But what I was really getting at was when you were talking about, like Jordan-esque with Mahomes. I mean, you actually took my thunder. I was like, the man, they had like his projected rushing yards for this past game. He was like positive money at like 25 yards. Crazy. And the guy ends up rushing for more yards than Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like he was just beast mode in that last quarter. It was just ridiculous, just what he did. And they couldn't even talk about like, he got the call during this or that. You know what I mean? Like the man just did his thing. Like
he won't be denied. You can say whatever about the refs. Like he has eye of the tiger, the will to win. You can't stop him. You think that you have his receivers covered. He's taking off.
It's amazing. It was amazing to watch. I mean, literally, just to watch that game. And I lived through that, Jordan. I'm big. I can't think that. I have a son that's 14 years old and a 12-year-old son. And they're like, LeBron. I'm like, nah, you just don't understand.
Respect to LeBron, but he's not a killer like MJ was.
Right. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, they call him Black Jesus, bro.
I was saying that the other night because Darius Slay was just on a podcast with Richard Sherman joking and saying that, Saquon this year, the Eagles started calling him Black Jesus in their locker room because they can't believe all the, home runs he's hit and 200-yard rushing games and stuff like that.
Amazing. That first play from scrimmage was ridiculous. I mean, you can't. I mean, the man is just.
I'm sitting in my living room like, here we go. Like, what a joke. Like, somebody going to tackle this guy?
I mean, come on, dude. First play, like, and the dude plays with class. Like, I mean, I was bad as hell when he slid,
Me too.
Plays with class. I lost.
Blew my parlay. I thought everybody had a Saquon anytime touchdown that day. He didn't score.
Exactly, man. He killed because I had guys for a 5-later, and I was like, yeah, I'll go crazy. With nice little come up, But he plays with class, man. Like, just it's gonna be interesting to see how this is gonna go because you got like the Saquon thing, and then you got like the Mahomes thing. So it's not like the three-peat. You're filling the three-peat. Like, you're watching history. Is it gonna happen? And then he's like, you got Andy Reid against his old team. Like, it's just crazy. I'll tell you real fast though. One thing, to get back to the old Giant Stadium, that place used to rock. You would be outside, the place would be vibrating, like literally vibrating. The ground would be shaking. There's nothing like the old Giant Stadium. Damn, and Florida State there, the old Kickball Classic, amazing. Like, place was ridiculous.
Thanks for the call, Joe. Yeah, back in the LT days, and not even back in the LT days. Like I said, that video that I saw on Twitter, I'm like, wow. When the year that the Giants, I think, beat the Falcons in the playoffs at home, the way that it's the same stadium, MetLife Stadium, not the old stadium, the way that the stadium looked compared to the way that it looks during Giants home games now, it's dead. It's lifeless. It's like they gotta figure it out. That's another thing too. Figure it out. Like I made a joke, and I said we were going to talk about the Jets a little bit too. I made a joke about Aaron Glenn because when Aaron Glenn did his press conference last week, or was it last week or was Monday? I don't know. Even now, they won the press conference. It seems like it was so long ago. He said something in the interviews after about doing it in New York. He did it in Detroit. He did it in New Orleans. Like, he won in those cities, and that's cool. But he knows as a player, winning in New York is special. It's different than anything else. And he wants to capture the city. He talked about winning and capturing this city. And I made the joke that, like, oh, perfect timing, right? Aaron Glenn said how much he wanted the job. He didn't want to go back to New Orleans. He didn't take the interview with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. Perfect timing to take this Jets roster and the drought, get into the playoffs, maybe with Aaron Rodgers, and capture the city. You don't got to worry about the Giants doing that anytime soon. My guy Dwight in Asbury Park. Dwight, I was talking about you because I was like, man, we were talking about Cooper DeJean on the late night on the Fan months before the draft.
I was like, that 11, that 10-7, you must have dropped that. So I'm like, guys running 10 wins, they're going to get him.
Yeah, but like his speed plays in the NFL. The Eagles have him returning punts. I remember because you're a track guy. We were talking about it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I missed that interview you had with Warren Pope. I was like, damn.
It's available. If you go to Apple Podcasts and you search Keith McPherson, if you search WFAN, if you search Warren Moon, it'll come up on Apple Podcasts. And in the Odyssey app, we have a podcast feature where you could go back to last Friday, and it's still there. So go back to January 24th, and I believe I had Warren Moon on at like 8:20. It didn't disappear. So if you didn't catch it live, you can still listen to it.
Yeah, because I remember all the drama he went through when he was team. Everybody had jokes that offense he had, the run and shoot. And when they laid that 27-10 smackdown on Kansas City, everybody in the NFL, they got real quiet after that.
He made you respect him. And that was the whole thing. Like, Warren Moon didn't get the respect he deserved, but when he got the opportunity to go out on the field and prove it, he earned that respect. And that's what, I was trying to have the conversation with him about how, we've gotten to modern day now where we don't even think about that type of stuff. But like, once upon a time, Jaden Daniels couldn't be drafted number 2 overall and have the rookie season that he had. Warren Moon, that wasn't allowed. Like, that wasn't even on the table for him. He had to go to Canada and play.
Yeah, he had to go up to Canada. He played up there for 5 years and won 5 Grey Cups in a row. I was like, yeah, okay. They can't say nothing to him now.
Winning is everything, and sports is the great equalizer. The thing about sports is, when you step in between those lines, whether you are black, white, whether you are young, old, whether you're from the United States or anywhere else, none of that matters. It's about who can play.
Yeah, because I remember Buddy Ryan had jokes for him and his offense, calling him the Chuck and Duck, and they were saying when Ryan was the defensive coordinator for the Oilers, when they was just go at each other in practice, the offense used to just do anything they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I just went back and watched the Amazon doc Evolution of the Black Quarterback, and they talk about how Warren Moon was at Washington at the same time Tony Dungy was at Minnesota, and they were both leading their respective conferences in passing yards. So he always had it and could throw. And Dungy came into the league and switched positions to play safety, I think, for the Steelers. And then, Warren Moon said, I'm a quarterback. I'm not switching. I'm not playing defense.
He had to switch positions. I was like that. Because I saw another documentary about black quarterbacks, Third and a Mile. This was back in 04 or 05. When they talked about all the stuff that Moon went through with death threats. He had to do death threats back in the early 90s.
Right. It wasn't that long ago. We're not talking Jackie Robinson. Like, this is like, I was reading books about him in the early 90s. And that's what I feel blessed that I got the opportunity. Shout out to Connor for booking the interview. I feel blessed that I like a full circle moment. Like, thanks for the call, Dwight. Like, I'm a kid that played football. I didn't want to play quarterback. Thank God that I played quarterback for a handful of years and was able to get scholarships or whatever. But before I was even playing quarterback, I was reading about Warren Moon, a black quarterback that got discriminated against and didn't get the opportunity because the NFL wasn't ready to draft black quarterbacks. They didn't They didn't see that as the right, look marketing wise. And they also didn't see that as, a potential winning formula. And then it became one. So we've come a long way, still further to go. And the funny thing about that on Amazon, as I'm looking at this Amazon commercial right now, and any of you that have Amazon and watch Thursday Night Football on Amazon, it was made by Michael Strahan's company, Smack Entertainment. And it opens up with Michael Vick talking about the Super Bowl from 2 years ago. And how did we get here? 2 black quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. And then Michael Vick sets out on this course to go through the history of the black quarterback. And I learned a lot. I thought I knew a lot. I learned a ton. So, yeah, if you get an opportunity to stream that, it's only 51 minutes. You'll hear about Warren Moon. You'll hear about a lot more than Warren Moon, and it'll take you back to where the country was and where the NFL was at the time. 808 or 888 I don't know. 337-6666 888-808-1019. Well, I don't even remember the old number now. I know I do know it. 877-337-6666. I had someone call tonight and they said, they said, this is my first time calling that number. And I'm like, we've had this number now. This number's been this way for months now. I think since like summer. I don't know. Anywho, Keith McPherson on the Fan, talking football, talking all around, the different sports. Usually when we get to like this time of the night and I haven't hit on everything in my notes, I kind of throw it up to you guys. I said I did want to get back into the conversation about the Dodgers and, something I had in my notes in a way to somewhat defend how I'm not defending how he's rich and sure, he needs to spend money and field the team. And I don't think he's cheap and I don't think he's crying poor, but I don't think enough people are aware of the Dodgers, the Guggenheim family, baseball family, the partners, all of the money that ownership group has, and how like the present value of the players' deferred contracts, they invest that money and it goes into interest-bearing accounts for the players' protection, right? And then the present value of the deferred compensation in their own insurance companies, like they take this money, they have a whole setup for their own, PE firms and their own hedge funds and their own banks. It's all set up. I wish I knew more about it. I actually, I tried to Google and write some stuff down today. I'm trying to go back to the tabs. I'm like, this is above me. What I'm going to do one day is find someone that works in all of that can speak to that. Maybe someone in LA that knows a little more that can tell you like, listen, this is deeper than you realize what the Dodgers are able to do with their ownership group, with the assets that they have, with the advantages they have to fill out a roster of this many talented players and pay them and be, under the, the rules and not be breaking the rules of the collective bargaining agreement, but at the same time, be absolutely finessing the rules with these deferred contracts. Because no other team would be able to field the team with half as many of these players and what they make in these contracts. But the Dodgers have figured it out, and they're stacked. It is what it is. Val is in the Bronx. Next up on the Fan. Go for it, Val. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's good, fans? What's going on, kid?
Talking the talk, running through it.
Tape and in an attempt to try to save it so many times. Back in the day, you used to use the cassette to even like tape, like a rap show or something like that off the radio. Stretch and Bobbito had a night where they would do it. You would talk about the beats that Zoo was playing. They had a night where they did this show back when they were on, I think it was Columbia radio station, a Columbia University radio station, and the whole show was like they would play, I don't know, like Mos Def, This Fat Booty, and then they would play you the original song that the beat was sampled from, and all like the whole show was dedicated to that. So you got like there was like a that Marvin Gaye cut that I think Eric Sermon did something to. Like every song that they played
and it was like a classic. And I lost that tape, bro. I even lost the ability to be able to play it again, and my heart was broken. That back ever again. Shout to Zoo, man, because he's playing some ill beats tonight. The stuff you're talking about with LA, you know, you were talking about it a little bit in your break earlier. And I said something to Brother Mac last night. I think he misunderstood me a little bit. Because you also talked about a point in this show, and I think you might have heard that conversation too. Look, stuff with something and went up on a platform on something else. And I understand why he did that, because I talked about what I thought was a nuance in something that Hal had said in his conversation. By the way, prefaced it by saying I loved everything he said. I love where my squad is, and I love my chances. But he had mentioned something in answering the question, and I know that wasn't the real part of the context of what he was being asked, but he said something about, you know, well, they got to stay healthy. And I mentioned to Brother Mac that the interesting thing, like, however, we can talk about whatever you want to say about how they got to the point that they're at now, but where they're at in their evolution at this point, they already have their first team. And it feels like what you're seeing as like extra signings, because now they're still deep in the water and they're not going after like mid-level guys or like, you know, the low-level part of the market, top dudes, and actually buying depth.
Yeah.
So to say even like, you know, the worry, like, you know, to say that there's a way that, you know, well, you got to worry about them staying healthy, you know.
No, I was listening to the call, Val, and I heard it last night. I wanted to chime in. Because they have finessed the system, they have now deferred an insurance policy. If they do get hurt, they have backups on backups on backups in LA.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, and it wasn't even so much to say like I'm crying poor or that I'm begging Hal to do something. I'm being a rational fan. I'm actually saying, because the scary thing is, I don't even see this as being something that could be solved. Because I heard people saying that too with the CBA coming up and all that. The owners themselves are split on this. So you got to remember too that small market teams that could care less about what they do, because the more that they keep going over the threshold.
Correct.
So even the owners are split on it. But my point was, like, you know, it was more like a warning to everybody else. We have to be like, you know, from our management to our players to how we execute on the field, which is why I like our pivot. We have to be on point with everything that we do. We have to listen. There's a warning that's letting you know that a team like that is out there. And you can't say something like, well, if they lose somebody, this, that, the other. Nah, they got something coming after that. They damn near did it last season, as I told them, without Ohtani pitching. You know, last now, who was somebody everybody was scared when they put him on paper. You barely saw it. Like, so, you know, the way that they're doing things, they're like I said, they got their first team. The signings they're doing now are people that like to be everyday players someplace else, and they're still pulling those guys in to say, well, just in case. Like, even to speculate on what Boris might have done with it, not that it was, because I don't think, and I'm not even trying to say that this is real, don't get like carried away with what I'm saying now. But at first, even with Alonso, when there was speculation that the Dodgers might have been in on that, the only reason why that rumor was allowed to exist for the 5 minutes that it did was because you could actually see them saying, you know what, we got Freeman, but just in case Freeman's ankle is not feeling right, we can afford to put Alonso on the roster just to hold on to the rare chance that maybe Freeman goes up. That's the kind of thinking that they're doing, and that's why, like I was saying, it's more like a warning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and appreciate you, Val. I listened to the call last night, and I can echo all of those things. Like, the Dodgers, what they're doing is signing these players. Like Blake Snell, I just pulled up his money, $52 million in a signing bonus. That doesn't affect anything. He signs, he gets that money. And even with Blake Snell, he's a Washington resident. He's from Seattle, so he took that signing bonus, and it didn't get affected. It wasn't subject to California state income tax. His contract has $13 million deferred each year, right? The annual salary that he's making is 26. So half of his money is being deferred. It's just, I don't know. They figured something out with Ohtani, and they applied it to everybody else that they pursued. And it allowed them to pursue more players, because they're not getting to a point like the Yankees and other teams where they're like, well, we're against the luxury tax threshold. Even going over, they don't care. They'll pay the penalty because they're making a ridiculous amount of money. They're making so much money off of going to the World Series, having those World Series games out. I got a break. I'll come back and continue to add on. And there's some stuff I want to look up so I can articulate better, like what the Dodgers are doing and why they're able to do it and why they're doing it so well. Keith McPherson on the Fan. 1 hour to go. I'll be right back. Hello. Hopefully you can hear, I know you can hear me, but hopefully you can hear the calls through the monitor. What was I going to say, yo? I'm trying to figure out this Dodgers stuff. Part my hair. I'm trying to, put it in the simplest terms that I could put it in for folks to listen to. Jakey, thanks. Yeah, that's the only thing, bros. Like, I got to figure out a way to get this microphone next to the calls so that way you could hear everything. But I'm doing everything externally. It'd be great if I could do everything internally and you'd be able to hear it with the audio quality of the app or the radio. Yeah, I'm trying to articulate to folks what the Dodgers are doing, right? The value of the deferred money, right? When they're deferring this money, they're if it's 26 million for Blake Snell, half of that, the 13 million that he's not getting, that's not counting against him on the books, is being put into investment firms. And the Guggenheim Partners, like if you just search Guggenheim Partners and their PE firms, it's a global investment and advisory financial services firm that engages in investment banking, asset management, capital market services, and insurance services. I'm reading. My eyes are going faster than I'm reading. The Guggenheim family and the Guggenheim Partners, this is what they do. This is what they do, right? In October 2009, Guggenheim hired former JP Morgan head of media. Like, they are an investment firm. They do private equity. They do all of this stuff. And they now have figured it out to the point where they are they're finessing Major League Baseball. They're finessing Rob Manfred and all the teams, and they don't care about the tax. They're making so much money, and they're making so much money just off of Ohtani and the Japanese international money coming in. I'm telling you, they don't care, yo. They do not care. Let's see. Total payroll. Right now, their total payroll is a little bit over 300 million at 303. But if we actually did the numbers, and I got to go back to my notes to find, let's see, Dodgers deferred money. There's so much bread. Here we go. The Dodgers' current deferred contracts. I'm telling you, Ohtani started this shit, and they literally, it's like they found a glitch in the matrix, and they're like, so Ohtani telling them that you can defer $680 million of my $7 million contract. Will Smith decided, defer 50 million of mine. Freddie Freeman has 57 million. I'll save it because I'm going to say it on air. So, like, I'm not mad at Hal Steinbrenner getting on the Yes Network, his channel that he also pays for, and I think still has to pay for, has some type of debt on. I'm not mad at him for saying we can't do what the Dodgers are doing, because they can't. Not in real time, at least. Not in real time. Let's see. League Pass Larry. I can't. Let me go. I got to go to Twitch to get that link. League Pass Larry, I know you're a smart sports fan. You may know something that I need to know. And I'm now in the Twitch chat. Let's see. MLB's CBA offers some leeway in how teams invest money used to fund deferred comp. Hypothetically, Dodgers could invest $85 million today in Guggenheim's S&P 500 two-time strategy fund and pay Ohtani's entire $700 million deal if it maintained the same 10-year average return of 17%. Yeah. So, and it's when I say it's compounded, they are selling the weather, the location. If you've ever been out there to LA, it's nice year round. They're selling the status. You're playing for the Dodgers, who go to the postseason every year and are the defending now World Series champs. I've been to like 4 of the last like 7 World Series. You can play with a unicorn who has the unicorn contract. The only player that can pitch and hit like that in Major League Baseball has a contract with $680 million deferred. I mean, even with Soto doesn't have any deferred money. I don't know how many nights I got on the fan where I was like, I understand Boris wants to top Ohtani's deal. In total money, they blew it away. I didn't know anybody was going to do that. I don't know. It's insane. The money's insane. I honestly can't even wrap my head around it or articulate it. It's too much. And these humans, they breathe the same air we breathe. They put their pants on like us. They go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning, and the money that they have attached to their names is insane.
Brought to you by Hard Rock Bet. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and roll with us. Good evening. At 11 o'clock, I'm Peter Schwartz. The Islanders just keep on rolling. Their 6th straight win. They beat the Flyers 3-0 in Philadelphia. Ilya Sorokin, 23 saves for his 3rd shutout of the season. Baseball, the Mets make it official. Signing of reliever Ryan Stanek to a 1-year deal. That's also designated Dylan Covey. Former Mets pitcher Max Scherzer reportedly agreed to a 1-year deal with Blue Jays for $15.5 million. College basketball, Hofstra over Elon, 74-63. Stony Brook, Charleston, 81-74. Wagner, Stonehill, 73-67. 42 degrees, cloudy skies in Central Park. That's what's happening with sports flashes. At the top of the hour, I'm Peter Schwartz.
Gucci Man Lemonade beat. Where were you when Big Sean freestyled over this beat? I know exactly where I was. I was in college, in my own college house, 409 Page, sitting upstairs. And I already heard the Gucci beat, but then when Big Sean freestyled over, I was like, I watched that on YouTube. I was like, this is crazy. Snap. Keith McPherson on the Fan, my last hour tonight, but it's all good. We'll do the same thing tomorrow night, another 5-hour KM to AM. During the break, I tried to really dive into this Dodgers deferrals and CBT and Ohtani's contract and the Guggenheim partners and how they're able to do all of this. It's insane. It's insane. We'll get back to it. But let's get to the calls because I'm going to run out of time and I hate leaving people hanging. 888-808-1019. Ross is in Bergen County, back on the Fan. What's up, Ross? Good. What's up, bro?
And so I know this been the last couple of days, man. I just can't wait for this baseball season to come back. And I hear you and Dude talking about like scandal and stuff. I'm finally logged into like my $100 account and all, and so good and damn got the baseball hockey and stuff. But man, I'm just kind of missing the hits, runs, and RBI, strikeouts. Like what? It's still like the most unique sport to bet on. You know what I mean? Like points, rebounds, just that goals, points, obviously, but. There's just such a variety with baseball. Just overall, like the whole like hype around the season, like the fact it doesn't even feel real. It would take a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting.
Yeah, you just reminded me I got to put my future bets in for Major League Baseball. So,
the line's out already for the teams at least.
Yeah, I just saw a couple things. I'm like, all right, I need to start like plotting on that. I'm taking a break from betting on the NFL. Baseball betting is completely different. It's every day, and I feel like parlays are easier to hit in baseball if you don't get too greedy and you don't get too overzealous. Um, yeah, because it's like, if you bet like someone's strikeout prop, if you bet total bases, you bet hits. Um,
Like Schwarber, it feels like, certain odd makers, they don't, I sometimes feel like they underestimate the guy who strikes out at least once in a 90 days. And that was another one.
Yeah.
A run is like the RBI and total bases prop. They kind of overlook.
If you know your team and you know the opponent that they're facing, and you can kind of line it up with starting pitchers versus certain lineups, lefties, righties, a heavy lefty or righty lineup. Yeah, you know it. I know what I have to tell you.
It was funny, ironically, for a while, Jeff McNeil was one of those. 2 years removed from a batting title, kind of looked at his entire career as a contact hitter. He was kind of one of those. That's how bad he was for a while. And just overall, we're still getting signs. I mean, you see today Scherzer's going up to Toronto, and I didn't even put two and two together. He went from being hand in hand with DeGrom. Now he's in the same rotation as Chris Bassett. So he's moving teams. He's still looking up with these former 2022 Mets. His career keeps going. I mean, you see him. You got Verlander. Chance for Anderson.
Verlander signed with the Blue Jays, or not Verlander. Scherzer today signed with the Blue Jays. Verlander.
Yeah, I mean, these are going to be books in the road. These are like the KGM and the Celtics type moves. But just overall, I mean, the fact that the Pete saga is still going on, the fact that full circle kind of deal, and I feel like even though the tight energy kind of deal with Soto and the Freeze, and now it kind of looks like all this drama, all this crap, Pete, and at the end of the day, it's the one that's short. So I don't know how to again, but that's pretty much all I got to say. Thanks, man.
Thanks for the call, Ross. We talked about Pete Alonso earlier in the show. I think it's in a staring contest. And, I think Pete just staring at the one offer he had. Now it's just a waiting game. What are you waiting for? I don't know what we're waiting for. I feel like that. I was asking for that news to break during the show. What are we waiting on? Nothing's going to materialize from any other team. I just know that it's best for Pete to continue here in New York. I think he wants to. I think there isn't a burnt bridge. I don't think there should be any pride or ego in the way or hurt feelings. Just sign the deal, man. And I mean, I know 90 million is probably not there anymore. If it's 70 million, if it's 68 million, sign the deal. I think it's Scott Boras, though. I posted this video, and I think I'll get Zoo to play it. I'll get Zoo to play it. I won't speak on it, but I'm like, man, this is the perfect video. It's on my Twitter. I'm like, it's a perfect video for Pete Alonso to watch. It's a perfect example for Pete Alonso to see. And I don't think he needs to see it at this point. I think we've gotten past it. Maybe like 2 weeks ago, he needed to see, like, hey, take a look at this. Listen to this experience with your agent in the same city, but just the other team. 888-808-1019. Taking your call still on Pete Alonso. My thing with Pete is just, hey, like, time is of the essence, right? Supposedly, like Andy Martino reported 2 days ago that, like, the Mets signed Ryan Stanek to that deal, which wasn't anything crazy. I think it was like $4 or $5 million, and didn't sign Kenley Jansen first to leave wiggle room for Pete. But they still could pursue Kenley Jansen and Pete. I don't know, man. It's time. Lock it in. We got less than 2 weeks to spring training. There's nowhere else for you to go. Get it done. 888-808-1019. You know what I didn't get done? Because I was kind of joking about it anyway. The Cinco de Quitos. I'd rather just talk all around this stuff than to do lists, than to do top fives, the top 5 closest teams to the title. I think I joked around. Let's do the bottom 5, the 5 teams in New York furthest away from the title. What I do want to do, though, regarding the Knicks, and I'll do this for the next break. We'll play what Jokic had to say, and then we'll also go through who I think the top 5 teams are in the NBA, including the Knicks. 888-808-1019. Ray is in Brooklyn. What's up, man? You're back on the fan.
Oh my God, Yankee fan, how you doing, bro?
Chilling, bro. In here.
All right, I hear that. Listen, Let's go Knicks, by the way, but I didn't go to people. But they're definitely a top five team. Even if like people don't necessarily like the Knicks, you have to put them on like even if they're a 15, I would think they make everybody's top five. But, so the reason why I thought about the and Buffalo, I didn't ask what you asked. I heard some sentiments on it like the past couple of days. Let me just say this, hopefully they called prior to me about the Mets. He took a shot like basically at Alonzo saying all this kind of like, the Mets fans, they crack me up, right? Because they act like their owner, their owner is a clown. Because like you want to cry after that, that issue, after when you guys got booed, going by your fans, because the fans are telling you, dude, you want to cry about money and say how successful the negotiation is. Geez, let me ask you this question. Look, you and I actually work for the USPS. I'm a mailman. Okay? I'm not rich. You're not rich. Have you ever taken peace of mind in my life and I'm not rich? Have you?
Of course.
Right. So why do these clown fans and his small owner go to be big bro and have all the money in the world that they do? Why do you have this kind of owner who is crying like a little girl? It's so stressful. If me and Keith McPherson can pay for a little bit of peace of mind over pay for something, and we're not rich, we're not billionaires, why can't you? So instead of those, the fans calling in, the ones that are on his side, he should give a little. I don't see it that way. Kind of an owner who's saying it's so stressful, but he feels what? Because if it really was so stressful to him, he would take the peace of mind just like you and I do. So about Kansas.
I'm letting you go.
You already know. So check this out. Kansas City. Like I ain't in front. I can't stand him. I can't stand home. I can't stand his brother Miss Jackson home. I can't stand anything. I can't stand the referees. I'm not gonna be a big I'm a Giants fan, but I was a fan and I was like kind of taking them in my AFC. And you said it rightfully so. It's so hard to stop passing away. If some team comes to beat them, you stop them, you take third down, and you get them off the field, and the defense has done it now. But they call it, you get a flag like they did in that game against Buffalo in the first time. Now, and then they don't call the team not to the back, and they're recognized, fun for 60 yards that also went to the first four. Like, I give them credit for people to take advantage of these situations, but at the same time, if they call the game down the middle, we might be talking about just like Daniel Austin said on ESPN. We might, if there for a couple of trades the last couple of years, we may not be talking about Mahomes like this. It may be Josh Allen who we're talking about. They might have reversed the roles if it's not for
Rozu, check your email when you get a chance for audio.
Bro, like we just gotta call it how we see it. I give him this credit, taking advantage, but like the league can't make it more abundantly clear that he's a cash cow.
Oh boy, Ray from Brooklyn, he can run it up. I let him run. I let him run despite me not agreeing. Let's go back before we talk again about Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the rest. Right? And if you've listened to me and followed me, the entire NFL, as far as officiating goes, is bogus, and not just for the Chiefs. But I'll get to it. Speaking on paying for peace of mind, we can't compare peace of mind for us. Like you're gonna pay for something for, let's say, like safety, right? You're gonna buy the more. You might pay for the safer vehicle, right, for peace of mind instead of being in an older car. You might pay for an expensive car so you don't have to worry about fixing tires or transmission going out or something. That's peace of mind. My son, I have a child. I will always get the more expensive option. I won't go cheap for peace of mind, whether that is medicine or his needs or little things like you pay more expensive option for peace of mind so you don't have to worry about it later. That's not the case here with Pete Alonso and Steve Cohen. If anything, right, he paid more for peace of mind with Juan Soto. I'll be the highest bidder there because this is Juan Soto. Pete Alonso is not Juan Soto. He does not have to pay more for Pete Alonso. Man, Steve Cohen is smart. He's cold as hell. When I saw his mannerisms and then also heard how he spoke at Amazing Day about Scott Boras, Pete Alonso, and the negotiations, that's a tactic, and it's worked. You know, I had in my notes from a couple nights ago, there was a report that Steve doing that might have been a violation. Ken Rosenthal reported that, Cohen branding the Alonso negotiations as exhausting and that he straight up disliked the counteroffers being presented to the Mets could be seen as violating attachment 49, which is designed to prevent club officials from attempting to influence the market through their public comments. That's the other thing. There is no market for Pete, and Steve knows that, and David Stearns knows that. So as far as paying more for Pete to have peace of mind, they're at peace. They talked about internal options. They talked about getting used to the fact that they might have to go with the younger guys and the people that they have. I think we've talked around this Pete Alonso thing in so many different circles that we're kind of missing the point. The point is, Pete Alonso is 30 years old, had a down year, and even though he hit one of the greatest home runs in Mets history, kept their season alive, that doesn't get him any more money. The market is what the market is. Steve Cohen and David Stearns aren't going to bid against themselves. It's foolish. Whether you have 20 billion or you have $20, you're not going to bid against yourself. And so for Pete services, they can wait as long as they want. The ball is in Pete's court right now. Do you want to continue to wait and potentially get less elsewhere and make it harder on yourself to move across the country or move out the country to Canada and leave your New York legacy behind where you can't get that back? I think it's when we're talking about peace of mind, Pete Alonso is going to have to take less money just for peace of mind. Like Steve Cohen, peace of mind. Steve Cohen sleeps well at night. He didn't get that rich by accident. He didn't get that rich by taking any deal that was thrown at him. He didn't get that rich by, getting painted into a corner. He has the upper hand. 888-808-1009. And then as far as the officiating with the Chiefs and calling it how we see it, because the Chiefs are dominant, because the Chiefs win, we're always going to see it as everything is in their favor. The ball bounces in their favor. Patrick Mahomes runs the ball, and it's, well, why aren't they tackling him? How is he able to run like that? The refs officiating in the NFL is bogus. When I say bogus, I don't mean rigged. And I saw something coming out with like Dean Blandino and all that. You can't rig the NFL. It's 11 on 11. The best athletes in the world, they're highly competitive, and then they have smart, experienced coaches dialing up plays and scheming things, and they prepare. You can't rig it. You can't rig it because everybody's got their own agenda. Football is a game of matchups, one-on-ones. You can't rig it. Not even with pass interference, roughing the passer, illegal block downfield, whatever. With the Chiefs, I've been on record saying the most egregious call for me was Patrick Mahomes running the ball in and him throwing the ball hard as hell into like the backstop or the sideline or whatever. And okay, he doesn't get flagged for throwing the ball like that. That's fine, whatever. It's like a spike. But Travis Kelce going up to DeMar Hamlin. Everybody knows DeMar Hamlin, right? Everybody can identify number 3, DeMar Hamlin. We know who he is. Travis Kelce's allowed to get in his face and mock him. He's allowed to get in his face and taunt him. No flag. And it wasn't little. It wasn't a quick little thing. I don't know. I'm like, that's crazy. There's got to be a flag on that. Hey, that's taunting. That's too much. But in their building, they can do what they want. And you can cry about the spotting of the football where you see it sitting in Great Neck, Long Island. It has nothing to do with how the guys on the field see it in Kansas City. 888-808-1019. A catch is a catch. As far as that ball that Xavier Worthy caught, it touching the ground. It didn't move. The ground didn't help him catch the ball. He had it secured. He came down with it. The defender should have made a play, ripped the ball away. And that's the thing. Make plays. Kansas City makes plays. They always make a play. They always have a play, whether it's a cowboy blitz, a corner blitz, whether it's P-Ron coming out of the flat wide open, somebody that the defense didn't account for to get a first down. They always have a play, whether it's blocking a field goal, whether it's kicking the field goal. They always make the play. And the Bills played right into their hands. The Bills had the ball to go down and tie the game, win the game, and get it done. The Bills played right into their game into the game that they like to play all year, a one-score game, specifically a one-score game at home. They're not losing games like that. Now they got to go on the road, I guess, to a neutral site. If the Eagles don't have a 10-point lead, a two-score lead, and maintain it against Patrick Mahomes, they're not going to beat the Chiefs. Spags is going to be over-prepared to stop the run. Pick your poison? Okay. Let's see if Trent McDuffie versus A.J. Brown one-on-one goes in the favor of A.J. Brown beating him and Jalen Hurts also delivering a good football all night. I'm stacking the box against Saquon Barkley. And the next 2 weeks, I'm telling everybody, hey, tackle. Bring your arms and your legs. You got to tackle this guy. It's the last game of the year. Everything you got, tackle him. Everybody to the ball. This is the Chiefs, man. I think we don't want to recognize greatness. I think we always want to hate. And in this internet era as well, we have social media and Twitter that instantly reacts to everything, people recording their TVs and, oh, what is this? And you know, that narrative is able to grow. The Chiefs made the plays, man. If I go back to that box score, I don't have to. You can just look. The Chiefs do what they got to do to win the game. The Bills did not. The Bills abandoned the run. The Bills left their best player off the field. The Bills didn't capitalize when they had the opportunity to. So that's all, long and short. And when the Super Bowl comes and there's a play that is going to go in favor of the Chiefs, let's not cry about it. Let's just recognize greatness and that you got to play perfect to beat the Chiefs. They don't make mistakes. They don't beat themselves like so many teams in the NFL do. 888-808-1019. We take another call before we get to the break, maybe two. Mitchell in Fort Lee is on the fan. What's up, Mitchell?
Hi, Steve. How is everything? Long time. Oh, yeah. A few things. I was going to go as far as I guess I was with the Chiefs. Here's the big part of the game. Andy Reid, when you give this guy 2 weeks to prepare for any game, he's a genius. And I really do believe that I think that it's easy to win the game. And, you know, the way that teams win is by the head coach. They had the game won the Bill, and I had the last chance with the ball in the fourth quarter. He starts to a pitch on the first play. And not even have your best running back in the game.
Yeah, they're pitching the ball backwards to Ty Johnson.
Yeah, and then also keep with that, you know, if with the game, I really believe that if Kansas City's going to win the game, they're going to have to pass the ball more and hold the clock. Because if you get that ball, you get that their exposure. I mean, between the running back and the wide receivers, I think it would be a great game. And that's what I think with Kansas City. Number two is the match that you've been speaking about. You know why I blame this? I blame Boris. You know why? Boris has done this for the last 3 years. Maybe some players are finally realize Mr. Boris is great. But you know what? No picture is A-plus players. You know what? He got through his deal. When it comes up to him, they're all Alonzo. And they'll be pitching deal to him. They need to deal with Montgomery and third. That he keeps on going and going and going. Last year, and people are reading him. He's a good agent, but he doesn't care about all this. He only takes care of his agent stuff. Number three, now with the Yankees, two things. One day you gotta come here with me. I know you're in the bleacher creature. Crash. One night, please. It's my invitation to you. Come here with me, front row, in right field. You're gonna be and you can see Churchill. We'll have a good time. So,
We're at 103, 104. Okay. I'll find you randomly. Yep.
We'll get to it. You'll tell me where you are, and when we come, we'll take you to the Pepsi Club or whatever. But with the Yankees, you know, obviously, we spent all this money. Here's what we had to do. We get a little closer. We'll have Weaver there. You know, the bullpen is good. Now we got a first baseman. But we're missing two more pieces to the team. And I don't see the Yankees taking those moves. I don't think we're going to trade for Then Reddick already. already. Ron Alvey can play third base, and he was supposed to be our chip. He might not be a chip anymore. That's the Yankee thing. The chip, none of the chips, come to except for Judge, and way back 2 years ago when they were four. You need a third baseman. And then, there's another position that no one has spoken about the Yankees. What position that is? It's the bench. They don't have a bench. They have no one on that bench. So it's mind-boggling that the Yankees say they're not going to spend more money. Spend more. You went this far. You lost some. I'm not sure. I've said that was a zero. And the great medical. If you have there, Keith, you don't need right there. I had him. I sat right there. He missed it. I don't care that he's gone. The Yankees need 2 or 3 pieces to make another run against the Dodgers.
Thanks for the call, Mitchell. 888-808-1019. I don't know, a few things there if I can remember them all. I've never had season tickets. I used to just buy the cheapest ticket and then figure my way around. Now I have WFAN tickets and a credentialed media pass, and I just figure my way around. But hey, if you want to send me a ticket to come sit with you in front row 107, I'll be there. Anyway, the Yankees, you can't just get rid of Marcus Stroman. Who wants him? Takes 2 to tango. I think if it was that easy, he'd be gone already. Who is taking on his contract? $18 million. I think if the Yankees found somebody to eat $5 million of it, it'd be done. I don't think they can find somebody. Getting up there in age, like what can this potential team look at from last year, Marcus Stroman, and say, yeah, send it. There's always a Yankee tax. There are 29 teams in the New York Yankees, and nobody's trying to help the Yankees now that they got back to the World Series. Nobody's trying to help the Yankees win the World Series. 888-808-1019. They're not taking something for nothing. Like, they're not giving you something for nothing. I don't know. I think it's taking a while with Stroman, and he's probably just going to be here. I don't know. And then as far as the bench, yeah, they don't have a bench, right? We're pinch hitting Jose Trevino in the World Series. Where's he at? He's gone. They don't even have a backup catcher. I don't even know who the backup catcher is going to be. They don't have a bench. Their bench will be some version of whoever's not going to win the starting third baseman job. The bench, DJ is going to be a bench player. Hopefully Cabrera wins it. You mentioned, Chips and Peraza. I don't have enough time. Zoo's giving me the T timeout. We got a break. I'll try and answer my questions in the notes, and we'll come back. We talking about Chips. And Duhar, Frazier, like Judge isn't a chip. They would never trade him. Keith McPherson on the fan. Call me up. I'll be right back. Sometimes I give people time to speak and talk, but then they overload me with so many things where I'm like, well, damn, how am I supposed to respond to all that? Like, you said 100 things. Like, all right, Chips, Peraza as a chip. He also talked about Scott Boras, and Scott Boras with his clients only really servicing the best of the best, and players should realize that. Well, all the players think they're the best of the best. That's why they go to him, and they think that he can work magic and get the money. In that, and then he mentioned. Let me go back. Andy Reid with 2 weeks to prepare, and I can easily speak on that. Let me talk in the chat. Let's see. Will Cole come back in the lineup this season? I'm not sure what that means. Will with Cole come back in the lineup this season? Garrett Cole will be in the rotation, yes, and hopefully Garrett Cole will be healthy all year and be able to contribute all year. What else? Bring Iglesias to the Bronx. Oh my God. Nah. Do you think we can get a Wells a couple games at first? No. They have Paul Goldschmidt, who plays first base 150 games a year more. They have Cody Bellinger, who can play first base. They have DJ LeMahieu, who can play first base. They have Oswaldo Cabrera, who can play first base. You will not see Wells at first base. He'll be the everyday catcher. League pass, Larry. Keep doing this. Peace. Peace, bro. I see you during BT and Sal. The baseball team I root for can never. I don't know what level that is. I forget what team League Pass. I know he's a Knicks fan. Maybe he's a Mets fan. I don't know. When baseball institutes a salary cap after whatever happens in 2027, that's the only thing. Maybe. Keith, will the Yankees trade Stroman? It takes two to tango. Who wants him? Who wants him? I don't know. They're gonna have to eat most of that contract. Let's see. And if working well, brother, great to see you live. Thanks. Gonna do this more often. This is the second one this week. I'll do this again tomorrow. But I gotta figure out how to get this freaking mic to work. I gotta call these people, man. I gotta email these people at StreamYard and be like, yo, it's a brand new MacBook. There's a brand new microphone. Why does your software not recognize the microphone? Is it because I went live? Like before I go live? Nonsense. Keith, are the Dodgers paying their players too much money? It's D. It's insane, actually. Let's see. People are tweeting me. Not only that, but the Dodgers also have the highest TV contract. Yeah, good point. Yup. Add it to the list. I gotta fly through these damn calls. I got a full rack of calls. I'm blessed. Like, I come in, I do my thing, and I just talk, and you can fit 6 calls at a time on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I kind of play a game with myself where I'm like trying to clear my calls all night, where I'm like, I'm trying to flow and I'm trying to kick my, thoughts and opinions. But at the same time, I'm trying to not have people like waiting for 2 hours. And I clear the calls and I take a bunch of calls, but they keep on coming, man. So that's a good thing. Like, that's a sign of doing the job, in my opinion, right? I had somebody, and I literally don't care, but I had somebody write somewhere, they're like, this guy always says the number. Like, I hate that he always says the number. I'm like, you got to be dense. Like, you hate that I always say the number? You see those white pieces of paper? Those white pieces of paper literally have the number on it. That's the whole point of the game. 888-808-1019. But like, people hate everything. People are critical. We're in an envious position. People are jealous. People wish that they could do this, and I wished I could do it for years. And now that I'm doing it, like, I understand it differently. But anyway, someone was like, I hate that he says the number. And then I responded to them, and they were like, oh, it just ruins your flow. And I'm like, it doesn't ruin my flow. It's part of my flow. I'll have a take. Like, the Yankees can't do what the Dodgers are doing. The Dodgers are built for this. They're finessing the system. They have the Guggenheim partners in these firms and blah, 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 blah. 888-808-1019. Like, that's the trigger someone that either agrees or disagrees to call. All right, we're back. Okay, I've got 20 minutes left. I'm running out of time. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Thanks for calling. Thanks for holding. I got a full rack of calls, and I want to answer the last caller's call. I was just saying on the live, I'm like, I try to give people time, but then it's like I'm drowning in your call. Like, I give you your time, and then you talk about the Chiefs, Andy Reid. You talk about Scott Boras and Pete Alonso. You talk about I'm like, I can't answer everything. But going back to that call, he was talking about, Peraza as a chip. Peraza is no longer a trade chip. I would love to see Peraza win the battle, because when you think about it, right, the battle for third base, I'd love to see Peraza win the job, because he could just focus on third base and be a third baseman. He was a shortstop. When you have DJ and you have Oswaldo that can play first base, second base, third base, they're utility guys. Put them on the bench and they can spell guys. Put them on the bench. If someone gets hurt, they can come in. Let Peraza win the job and be That guy. So that answers that one thing. And yeah, the Yankees have a lot of chips, and they don't ever use them. They hold on to them, right? They prospect hug. How many times you hear that? As far as Scott Boras goes, and you mentioned Scott Boras only really servicing the best of his best or the best of the best players. Yeah, all of these players that go to him, they think they're the best of the best. And even if they don't think that they're the best of the best, he is the best of the best, and they expect him to get them the best deal offer of money. It as of late isn't working. But like I think he should be more inclined to make it work with the Mets because they just made the offer with him the highest contract in sports history with Juan Soto. Get the deal done with Pete. And last but not least, talking about Andy Reid with 2 weeks to prepare. Cooper DeJean, you've heard me talk about. Quinyon Mitchell, you heard me talk about. They are rookies going to be in the Super Bowl. I think they're going to be overwhelmed. I think that those other young guys, second-year players on the Eagles, are going to be overwhelmed as well because Andy Reid will show you different formations that you did not see on film. You can spend the 2 weeks watching the entire Chiefs season. He is going to run different plays or the same plays out of different formations, different plays out of he's going to confuse you. He's going to have something for you. There's going to be a player that goes off and I don't know. I'm riding with the Chiefs. I've learned my lesson to bet against them. 888-808-1019. Back to the phone. We've got calls on the Mets, on Pete Alonso now, on the Yankees, all the stuff that we've been talking about. Dale is in Rockaway, New York. Dale, you're on the fan.
I'm good now. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling, bro.
So, all right. So I called a few weeks back about these Yankees fans who keep on getting in the Mets business. But before I even get into that again, I want to say that when you first came on air, I was like, yo, these some of the years for the Yankee fans. When you came on as a Yankee fan in the early years, like, here we go, man, we going to get our pay back because we don't have a team that's for the Mets fans. But guess what? I was surprised because you have been absolutely fair. You have been introspective. You have been straight up. Like, you are so even killed. And you don't show, you know you're a Yankee fan, but you don't show anybody to give us
Well, there's a time to troll, but there's a time to actually have a conversation and stick to the facts. With the Pete Alonso stuff, I think I trolled in the beginning. I did the whole Avengers, oh, you got Juan Soto, but what did it cost losing Pete Alonso? But now that this has gone on this long, there's nothing else to say. There's nothing to laugh about, joke about. They got to get this done.
You when I hear you talking stuff about every topic, it's you were just spot on, and I like it. I appreciate it. Yes, yeah. There was a dude that called me, and I was really worried about how the way to do it was off, and I was like, yo, it's that one of our never stuff. No.
Ray in Brooklyn. That's Ray in Brooklyn.
Brian Blackman. He's cooking. But let that man cook. I've never seen him GM like this. Man, and y'all keep watching. You went to the World Series. Your man is cooking. What you do? You want the Mets business. The Yankees fans out there. Relax, girl. Stay out of the Mets business. Ain't your business. Stop
Yo, you understand, though, Dale? They're listening to the fan. They real conversations to jump in, but the Pete Alonso conversation has dominated. They're gonna call and weigh in.
I don't understand it, right? You say hate Pete Alonso, he's out. Hold on, you just abuse everything. You shut up. I was down the right way. So, I'm okay, right? I don't understand it. What's going on?
Because it's a little bit of get back, right? They saw how comfortable, not even comfortable. They saw how much Mets fans celebrated getting Juan Soto. There are some Yankee fans delighting in seeing how uncomfortable you are with the Alonso situation. They like to see you scream a little bit. Thanks for the call and the compliments, Dale. I know it. I talked to both. I'm in the Bleacher Creatures chat. I have a couple chats with some Mets fans, and it's just we share the same radio station. We share the same land. Yankee fans want Jose Iglesias to be signed to play third base for the Yankees to get back at the Mets. I've taken calls this week about, hey, Keith, you think the Yankees take a look at Pete? No. And stop thinking so much Mets versus Yankees. We don't have to worry about that until May 16th, something like that. Subway Series. Steven in Danbury is live now. What's up, Steve?
Hey, great show. Thanks for taking my call. I'll be efficient. You're dead on about Pete Alonso and what the Mets should and shouldn't spend. However, I don't believe they've done enough in the offseason. Obviously, Soto was a huge deal, but their starting pitching to me seems very average. And I think without a bat, whether it's Alonso or someone similar, I don't think their offense is going to blow anybody away.
I mean, I don't know. I think their bullpen is going to be much improved, and that was an issue last year for a lot of the season. I think that with this pitching lab, they're going to get more out of these pitchers than we expect. So maybe the philosophy changes a little bit. And like I've said this a bunch of times. And thank you for the call, Steven. Juan Soto is a ridiculous at bat, like multiple times a game. He's going to win you some games. He is a high tide raises all ships type of guy. Like he's going to help Mark Vientos. He's going to help Francisco Alvarez. Like there are guys that are going to learn things from him. They're going to watch him. They're going to take batting practice with him. They are going to be better. Juan Soto alone is an offense. Like, like you know how James Harden was like I am the system. Like Juan Soto alone, some nights can be all the offense you need. If guys get on ahead of him, like Juan Soto can do that. Jesse Winker coming back. Let's see what he does as a full year Met. Brandon Nimmo, stay healthy. Brandon Nimmo's got to be what they pay him to be. Jeff McNeil, be happy, Jeff, the whole year. Brett Beatty, come on, bro. Like if they're relying on you, but I still think Pete is coming back. So Pete comes back, and it goes back to what I've been saying about Pete, that he had a down year last year, that he was pressing last year, that he, folded under the pressure last year, and other guys emerged. Lindor MVP type season. Other guys emerged, and Pete kind of fell into the background. Vientos, even JD Martinez at times being an unsung hero, or not an unsung hero, being the guy that you needed at DH, or it could be a Harrison Bader at times. It could be Jeff McNeil at times. It could be Arling Marte. It could be, it could be any of these guys that come through. Jose Iglesias coming through multiple times last year. I think Pete gets paid whatever he gets paid, and he locks back in and he turns back into the better version of himself. And I expect him to be a Met. There's nowhere else for him to go. In Middletown, let's talk to Matt next on the fan. What's up, Matt? Matt, what's up? You're live. Going once. Going twice. And the call will shift to Eddie in Waldwick. What's up, Eddie?
Bronx kid. I was
Yeah, no, I they do deserve some press. I kind of skipped over them today and skipped over Tuesday. But like I see. So I mean, they beat the Flyers 3-0, and they beat the Hurricanes in overtime Saturday. Shout out to the Islanders, man. Can they keep it up? That's the thing. Like, is this just a flash in the pan, or is this a sign of like the tide turning? Are people going to show up to support them? Are people going to be that arena I got to for the first time this year? It took me 2.5 hours to drive out there from Jersey, but it's amazing.
3 hours to get out there, and I go to like 15 games a year
It's nice.
for MSG Rangers. I don't want to say that, but it's a great arena.
Yeah, and I know the clip went, I think it was Barzell talking about the arena. It's quiet in here, it's dead in here, there's no one in here. They deserve some people to be there. And I think some more people did actually come out through this run because they had this winning streak it started. They were home against the Sharks, home against the Blue Jackets, home against the Flyers, home against the Hurricanes, home against the Avalanche. Like that was an impressive run. The most ridiculous period of hockey I've ever seen was going to see the Islanders versus the Hurricanes. For some reason, the Islanders have the Hurricanes number. I was at that game where there was like 6 goals in one period, and like 4 of them or 5 goals in one period. 4 of them were scored right in front of me. It was me, Geo and Bogus sitting in John Ledecky's right behind the glass. He's amazing. He's so awesome. Like so down to earth.
I high-fived him at a game. He took me into the suite. My daughter's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm at the owner's suite."
Man of the people. He stopped and shook everyone's hand that wanted to shake his hand, take pictures. I'm like, we're being escorted through by the actual king here.
Yes, he's a very good guy. Unlike Dolan, I don't want to get into that, but thank you, Keith. You're the best.
Thanks for the call, Eddie. Yeah, 888-808-1019. You know what? I mean, the Islanders at the bottom of the standings, but 6 wins in a row helps that. Now they're ahead of the Rangers. And I don't know. I think it's just, can they keep it up, or is this a flash in the pan to end January? It's a long way to go, right? The Rangers made a little bit of a run. The Devils are starting to make another run. Hockey is like that. It's like you can have a week watching your hockey team where you're like, damn, they can't get out of their own way. They can't figure anything out. They look slow. They're not like, and then they turn it on. It's like, where was this? It's hard to sustain it. It's just hard to keep it up. And the Islanders continue and come up the ranks because there was a stretch there for a while in the beginning of the season. I was like, oh, they're terrible. Anyway, 888-808-1019. The call dropped off from Matt in Middletown. We were talking baseball, but we'll shift gears a little bit. Here's something that I wanted to add. Usually at the end of the show, I'll try to do what did I miss? What did we miss? And I'll go into my notes for something that popped up. I was looking at ESPN earlier, and there was an article out that says the NFL had 182 concussions this season. That's down 17% from 2023. The NFL this season recorded its fewest number of concussions since it began tracking in 2015. Now, that is due to officiating. That is due to fines. Like, they fine these players. They fine running backs. If you come through the hole and you lower your helmet and use it as a weapon, you put the crown of your helmet down, like, you'll get fined for that. And it's also with these Guardian caps. I know people laughed and joked about them. I know when I was playing football, I definitely wouldn't play that big-ass Guardian cap on, but guys are wearing them, and we're seeing less concussions, and that's good. That's good. I don't, you don't need me to tell you about the past and CTE and how guys have been affected that have left the game and have had, serious brain damage and injuries. The NFL fixed it. These helmets are a lot better. The Guardian caps help, and the way that they're calling the game and the way that they're officiating the game, guys are not allowed to go helmet to helmet. Guys are not allowed to lead with their helmet. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are there. Chris in Bergen County. What's up, coach? You're back on the Fan.
What's going on, eh?
Bringing it home, running out of time. C-Mac coming up next. Another 5 hours in the books. We'll do the same thing tomorrow. Yeah, he's been sleeping for a while, but he's great. Oh, yeah, he's on my radar now. Okay, did that news just break? 40 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago, yeah. Okay. Wow, Jaguars hire Anthony Campanelli as defensive coordinator. There's a lot of hires happening now. I didn't get too much into Steve Wilks. I'm waiting for the Jets to add a couple more pieces and players. I also did see Josina Anderson talking about um, David Shaw, former Stanford coach, might be going to the Lions. Yeah, I mean, when you get into college and NFL coaching, it's all relationships. These guys just shuffle and move around, and you know, I know when I was a little bit younger coming out of college, people were like, "You want to coach?" I'm like, "I don't thought about coaching." I think I got offered to coach JV for like 2,500 for a season, and I just was like, "You know what I'm talking about." I was like 22 or 23 years old coming out of school. They're like, "You make 2,500 coaching the JV." I'm like, "Mm." I was like, I could make 2,500 doing a lot of other things a lot faster. It seems like 4 months. August, September, October, November to make 2,500 coaching AV. No, I'm good. Thanks for the call, Coach. 888-808-1019. Let's see here. What else? Oh, I don't know if Zoo got the audio. I might have sent it too late. Zoo, do you have the audio that I emailed you from Bernie Williams? If we can play it before we get out of here. I'll take another call, but let's cue that up. I think that's a good way to get out and then maybe segue into C-Mac show coming up. Mario, Long Beach. Mario, you on the fan whenever you want to be on the fan. I know they're supposed to be like, and I just learned this recently from leagues. Like, if you call, you like supposed to can't be on for 12 hours. You don't. That rule doesn't apply to you. I think there's something in the system that if you call and you get on, you can't get through for 12 hours. At least please me some, man. Trying to be fair to everybody. Some people call and they never get on, but here you are. Go for it. Mitch Robinson. $15 assists with the 30 points. Yeah, finding shots for other people, giving it up. He's gonna have to do that. He's crafty though. He's deceptive. Like his footwork and like the shots that he gets off, like he I don't know. He's crafty and deceptive, I'll say. Thanks for the call, Mario. 888-808-1019. At this point, if you call, you will be on with Mac is back. Mackey's back in town. Yeah. So the video that I was going to play, but just go to my Twitter account at Keith_McPherson. If you scroll down, I started off by just writing, send this to the polar bear if Pete Alonso didn't already call Steve Cohen. My good friend Bernie Williams tells the story about how Scott Boras was representing him and he was about to sign with Boston, but he didn't want to go to Boston. I remember talking to Bernie. He said he didn't want to move his kids. He wanted to be a forever Yankee. And I mean, trust me, being a forever Yankee has helped Bernie pass his career a ton. He'll tell you himself. In this video, he says that he called George Steinbrenner and they did the deal themselves and they cut Brian Cashman and Scott Boras out. That's what Pete has to do. I'm out of here. We'll do this tomorrow. Good night. All right, I got to end the stream now. Thanks for watching. Follow me wherever. I'll stream tomorrow, and hopefully we get the mic to work.